All right, we're going to start our new modeling. And so we're going to be doing parallel lines and transversals. So parallel lines are two lines that never intersect. I ran out of space. So the symbol for parallel is, and then they give us an example of two parallel lines. And our symbol here is, it looks like two L's or two I's put together, and they're just two parallel lines. So you read this as line AB is parallel to line CD. Okay, so another way to show the two lines are parallel is if they have these little arrowheads on here, those arrowheads are telling us that the two lines are parallel. And so remember, you can name lines with lowercase letters, so M is parallel to N, or you can also name them with 2 points, like they did in the previous part. So then a transversal is a line that intersects two or more parallel lines. So these are parallel lines. And then this line here is called a transversal. So your transversal is what cuts the parallel line right here. Okay, so it says identify the parallel lines in the parallelogram. So, in the diagram. So our parallel lines are S is parallel to T. And then it says identify the transversal in the diagram. So our transversal in this diagram is going to be this line here that I highlighted in green, and it is line R. So I should write out the whole word, line R. So it says the parallel lines in the transversal line form 8 angles. These angles have special names identifying their position with respect to the parallel lines and the transversals. So it's showing all of the angles, and they have them numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so here we're going to start off with corresponding angles. So these angles have corresponding positions in the diagram, like the angles 1 and 3. So if we look, we have our two parallel lines, which are S and T. So here's S, here's T. And so angle 1 has the exact same position as angle 3. They're both to the left of the transversal. Remember, this one is our transversal. And then they're both on top of the parallel line. So angle 1 is on top of parallel line S, and then angle 3 is on top of parallel line T. Okay, so then here it says identify the other pairs of corresponding angles. So the other pairs of corresponding angles, the next pair is going to be 2 and 4. So 2 and 4. So angle 2 and angle 4. All right, the next one is going to be angle 8 and angle 6. Both of them have the same position. They're both on bottom of the parallel line, and they're both to the right of the transversal. I'm having trouble. All right. I don't know why. Oh, there it goes. All right, on the next one. Let's see what color. 5. 5 corresponds to 7. So they both have the same position. They're to the left of the transversal, and they are both on top of the parallel line. So angle 5 and angle 7 are corresponding angles. Okay. So alternate interior angles. So this next one is these angles are between the parallel lines and on alternate sides of the transversals, like angles in 2 and 7 in the diagram. Identify the other pair of alternate interior angles. So here, if we see our two parallel lines, these are our parallel lines, S and T. And so if you notice, this is the inside. Okay, this is the inside of the parallel lines. So that is considered your interior. Now, alternate means they're on opposite sides of the transversal. So here's my transversal right here. So on alternate sides would be angle 2 and angle 7. And so the next one would be angles 3 and angle 6. So right here, angle 3 and angle 6. All right, alternate exterior angles. These angles are outside the parallel lines and on alternate sides of the transversal, like angle 1 and angle 8 in the diagram. All right, so this is the outside of the parallel line, so not in between. This is on the outside of them. And so angle 1 and angle 8 are both alternate because they're on opposite sides of the transversal, and then they are exterior. They are outside of the parallel lines. So then the other pair is going to be angle 5 with angle 4. So angle 5 and angle 4. All right, the next one, same side interior, or they are also known as consecutive angles. So here it says these angles are between the parallel lines because they are on the same side, they are interior. So they are on the same side of the transversal. So that's why it's same side interior. And it gives us an example. For example, angles 2 and 3 are both inside and they're on the same side of the transversal. So those are called either consecutive or same side interior. So then that means angle 6 and angle 7 are same side interior angles. So angle 6 and angle 7. So on these diagrams, we can also identify the pairs of angles that we learned on a previous lesson. So we still have vertical angles. Let's see, what color? Okay. So vertical angles. So your vertical angles are 1 and, so the one that's right across from angle 6 would be, angle 1 would be angle 6. I'm going to write that down right here, angle 6. These two are vertical angles. Now, angle 2 is vertical angles with angle 5. They're right across from each other. Angle 3 is vertical angles with angle 8. Angle 8. And then angle 4 is vertical angles with angle 7. Now it says identify the linear pairs in the diagram. So remember, the linear pairs are two angles that are on the same line. So I'm going to erase this. So if we notice here, angles 1 and 2 are both on this line R. So angle 1 and angle 2. Then we have 3 and 4. So angle 3 and angle 4. And then we have 5 and 6. So angle 5 with angle 6. Then we have 7 and 8. So angle 7 and angle 8. And so now we are going to go in the other direction, okay? They're still on a line, okay? But now we're looking at different lines. So angle 1 and angle 5 are both on line S. So we put angle 1 and angle 5 are a linear pair. Angle 2 and angle 6 are also a linear pair. 2 and angle 6. Angle 3 and angle 7. Angle 3 and angle 7. And last, angle 4 with angle 8. So there are several linear pairs. It is not letting me write angle 8. All right. So in each box, list all the angle pairs of each type in the diagram. So they want us to name all of the pairs of angles. So we have corresponding angles. So let's see. Angle 1 is going to correspond with angle 5. So angle 1, angle, let me zoom in. Angle 1 and angle 5. And I'm going to look at the diagram again. And so here, angle 3 is in the same position as angle 7. They're both on the left of the transversal and they're both under the parallel line. So these are considered what we call corresponding angles. So angle 3 and angle 7. I'm going to go ahead and go back. I'm going to put angle 3 with angle 7. Next, it is going to be angle 8 and angle 4. They're both below the parallel lines and they're both to the right of the transversal. So those are corresponding angles. I already forgot the numbers, 4 and 8. Angle 4 and angle 8. Here goes. And then the last ones are going to be angle 2 and angle 6. They're both to the right of the transversal and above the parallel line. So those are considered corresponding angles, angle 2 and angle 6. All right, next we are going to name the alternate interior angles. So I'm going to look at my pair of parallel lines. I'm going to go ahead and erase what I highlighted. And then I am going to identify the interior. So the interior is this section right here. Interior. So I'm going to put INT for interior. That's inside these two parallel lines. So then I do not want you guys to give me angle 1 and 2 because those are not inside the parallel lines. I do not want you guys to give me 7 and 8 because those are not on the inside of the parallel lines. So the ones that are inside are angle 3, 5, 6, and 4. So the one that is on an alternate side, on the opposite side of the transversal, is angle 6. So angle 3 and angle 6 are alternate interior angles. So angle 3 and angle 6. Okay, so now I'm going to look at the next pair. So we already said 3 and 6. Now if we look, 4 on the opposite side of the transversal on the inside of the parallel lines is angle 5. So angle 4 is alternate interior to angle 5. So angle 4 and angle 5. Now we are going to do alternate exterior angles. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go ahead and erase everything that I wrote. And then now I'm going to look at the exterior. So the exterior means outside of the parallel lines. So this would be outside of the parallel line. This would be the outside of the parallel lines. That's your exterior, E-X-T. E-X-T, exterior. And so we don't need, I don't want to see any 3s or 4s there or any 5s or 6. Those are not exterior, they're not outside. Now we're just looking at 1, 2, 7, and 8. So angle 1 is exterior, alternate exterior to angle 8 because they're on opposite sides of the transversal and they are alternate exterior angles. So here for alternate exterior angles, I am going to write angle 1 and angle, is it 8? Yeah, 8. Angle 1 and angle 8. Next, we have angle 2 is going to be alternate exterior to angle 7. So angle 2 and angle 7. All right, last, we have same side interior. So it's in its name. Okay, we're looking just at the inside angles. Wait, erase all that. The inside angles, remember, it's inside the parallel lines. So this is inside our parallel line. So we only have two options. We have 3, 5, 4, and 6. So angle 3 is on the same side of the transversal as angle 5. These are considered same side interior. So angle 3 and angle 5. And then the next, angle 4 and angle 6. 4 and 6 are also same side interior. So angle 4 and angle 6. All right. So now, in each diagram, identify angles 1 and 2 as corresponding angles, alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, or same side interior angles. So what we're going to do first is we're going to identify the inside. So this is the inside. Okay. Now, angles 1 and 2 are both outside of the parallel lines. So these are going to be exterior, okay, because they're outside of the parallel lines. Now they're also on opposite sides of the transversal. So this is going to be considered alternate exterior angles. So I am going to abbreviate. It's too long to write the whole thing. All right, the next one. So I am going to identify the inside. So if you notice, angle 2 is on the inside, but angle 1 is not in the inside. So it cannot be alternate anything. It cannot be, let's see what else is there. It cannot be alternate interior, alternate exterior, because one's inside and one is not. And then same side interior, they're both not inside. So our only other option is corresponding. And if you notice, they both have the exact same position. They're both to the right of the transversal, and then they are both above the parallel line. So these are considered corresponding. Corresponding. Okay, so I went in a little bit into the next problem. All right, the next one, number 4. So once again, I am going to highlight inside of the parallel lines, and I notice that angle 1 and angle 2 are both inside the parallel line, so it has to be something interior. And both of them are on alternate sides of the transversal. So these are considered alternate interior angles. And I did not spell this right. Let me fix that. ALT. Alternate. All right, the next one. So this is inside my parallel lines. Angle 1 and angle 2 are both inside. So it's going to be something interior. So in this case, we have angle 1 and angle 2 on the same side of the transversal. So these are called same side because they're on the same side of the transversal. Same side interior. I am going to abbreviate interior. Or they are also known, that's not the only name. If we go back just to check, I believe it's consecutive angles, but I just want to be sure. Same side, yes, consecutive angles. So consecutive means one right after the other. So consecutive. All right. Moving on to the next one. So number 6. Here it gives us angles 1 and 2. We do have 3 parallel lines. So what I'm going to do is I am going to highlight inside the parallel lines. We're going to have to ignore some of these extra lines that they include. So I'm going to go ahead and draw over the lines that you're paying attention to. We're just looking at this line here, because because angle 1 is on that line and angle 2 is on this line. And then we're going to look at this angle right here. So you kind of have to ignore the rest. Now, if we notice, angle 1 is in the interior and angle 2 is in the exterior. So it cannot be alternate interior. It cannot be alternate exterior. It cannot be same side interior. So our next option is for it to be corresponding. So if we look, they're both on the bottom of each parallel line and they're both on the right side of the transversal. So these are considered corresponding angles. All right, the next one. So on here, I take a look at angle 1 and angle 2. Once again, I am going to highlight in between the lines. And then we have to ignore all the other lines. So we're going to look at our two parallel lines. So we're just looking at these two parallel lines and this transversal. So I know it's kind of hard, but we have to ignore the other transversal. So if we notice, both angles 1 and 2 are outside. So it's going to be exterior. And then if we notice, they're on alternate sides of this transversal that I highlighted in purple. And so this is going to be considered alternate because they're on alternate sides of the transversal. Exterior because they are outside of the parallel lines. And then angles. Okay, so this line does not matter because angle 2 is not on this line. Angle 2 is made up with this piece and this piece right here. Okay. Example number 8. So once again, I'm going to highlight inside of the parallel lines. So this is my inside. And then we are only going to pay attention to the lines that make up angle 1 and angle 2. So this is my transversal. These are my two parallel lines that we're looking at. If we notice, angle 1 and angle 2 are both inside of the parallel lines. And then we can also see that they are on alternate sides of the transversal. So these are considered alternate interior because they're inside the parallel lines, and then angles. Okay, problem number 9. Here we have inside the parallel lines again. And then we have our two parallel lines, and then we identify the transversal that makes up angle 1 and angle 2. So this is our transversal. We have to ignore this other line. You cannot pay attention to this line. It has nothing to do with these. So angle 1 and angle 2 are both inside the parallel lines, but they're not on alternate sides. So these are called either same side interior because they're inside the parallel lines, same side interior, or they are also known as consecutive because they're right next to each other. Consecutive. Oh, I forgot the angles. Angles. Oh well. Okay. Now, when two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, the angles formed are congruent, the same measure, or supplementary. So you only have two options. And these are your only two options. Either they're the congruent or they're supplementary. So are they the same or supplementary? Those are the two things you need to ask for. Now also, when you have these two parallel lines cut by a transversal, you will always have obtuse angles and acute angles. So if you notice, this angle here is an obtuse angle. This angle over here is also obtuse, and you will notice that they are equal in measure. Now, this angle over here also is an obtuse angle, and this angle over here is also an obtuse angle. Okay, then your acute angles. All your acute angles will be equal in measure, so they will all be 70 in this case. So those are acute angles. These are acute angles. All right, Next, you're going to, if you're not sure, draw, or not draw, take the edge of your paper, and if you move it up to, I wonder if I can move this. Okay. If you take a right angle, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to draw this. But if you take a right angle and you hold it up against here, you can tell that it cuts into the rectangle that tells you that it's less than 90 degrees. So that's how you can check if you take the corner of your paper and hold it up against the angle, if you're not sure if it's an obtuse or an acute angle. All right, this is acute and this is acute. Okay, so on each diagram, find the measure of all the angles. Okay, so this is 84. That is an acute angle. It is less than 90 degrees. So this is an acute angle. Now this one is also an acute angle. It's directly across from it. Now this is also an acute angle here. It's less than 90. This is an acute angle also. So all of the acute angles are going to be 84 degrees. Oh, this one's 84. All right, and then the other angles, remember, if they are not the same, they are supplementary. So the other ones that are going to be obtuse angles are going to be supplementary, which means that they add up to 180 degrees. So this one is my obtuse angle, this is my obtuse angle, this is my obtuse angle, this is my obtuse angle. So to find that one, we're going to take 180. We're going to subtract 84. And that is going to give me 96. So all of these that are my obtuse angles are 96 degrees. So I'm actually going to change that into a 9, 96, and 96. Okay. Number 11. Okay, you're going to go through the same thing again, where you are going to label, these are my acute angles, and these are my obtuse angles. So all of these are obtuse. And then all of these are acute. Acute, 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 acute. Oh. All right, so if this angle is 111, all of my obtuse angles are 111 degrees. So that one's 111, these two are 111, this is 111. So now, to find the acute angles, we're going to do 180 minus 111, and that's going to give us, 69. I hope I did that math right. All right, so this is going to be 69, 69, 69, and 69. Oh. All right, number 12. Once again, we have this angle is 47, so all of your acute angles are going to be 47. So 47, 47, and 47, because all of those are your acute angles. And then you go ahead and label all of your obtuse angles. So all my obtuse angles here are going to be, we don't know, we still need to find out. So we're going to go ahead and do 180 minus the 47. And I believe that gives you, let's see, 3, 17 minus 4 is 13. So 133 degrees. So each one of these is 133. and 133. All right, number 13. This one gives you two pairs of parallel lines. We have this set, and this set is cut by this transversal here. So we're going to look at that one first. So if that angle there is 78, zoom in, this angle is also going to be 78. Now for our obtuse angles, we're going to have to do 180 minus 78, and I believe that gives you 102. So that means this one is 102, and this one is 102. And so these four angles translates down here because they are corresponding. So we go 102, 102, 102, and then these ones are 78. Now, if you now look at, we're going to take these off. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at these parallel lines. These two are parallel, and it is cut by this transversal. Then that means this 102 that is right here is going to correspond to this angle over here, which is 102. It's not coming out. 102. And then the 78 degrees would correspond with this section here. So I can't get it to right. 78. All right, and then these four angles here are going to correspond to these four angles here. And we're going to have the exact same thing again. So 102, 102, 78, and 78. Is that it? I guess that's it. We're done. All right, so go ahead and get a head start on the assignment. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Probably when class is going on, I might not be able to answer right away, but I will answer you guys by the end of the day. You can send me a message through Google Classroom or through Remind. And then go ahead and get a head start on the assignment today and then work on it for tomorrow also. Now remember, your notes and your assignment is a grade and you need to turn it into the substitute in order for you to get credit. You cannot show up on Monday and try to turn in the assignment. I will not take it. You need to turn it into the substitute. I hope you guys have a good weekend and we will see you on Monday. Bye.